Today is day 3, May 2023. Kind of moved risk report to risk report 2023 tracemay.blogspot.com. Please take a look. Before we had the GSS Euro 2023 traceapril.blogspot.com. We will check that the headline on May is the continuous effort since 2014. The CGQM, as my acronym, I would say, credit and interest notes beforehand requested to the international judicial system and courts, which is an international and global structure for application, which implies consequence against kind of behaviors that are forbidden in general in our areas. Having the issue declared all qualities observed at the criminal system, like cowardice, dishonesty, violence, threats to all. We had the issues there. The tranquility can help everybody. The tranquility is a consequence of your cooperation, and it doesn't matter which is your quality. Since you cooperated, you got things on time. We'll have the international application of the law. It's the 50th conversation with the International Criminal Court. Different areas, concurrent field of interest as application of a behavior that is illegal in our area. For instance, if you hoaxed a drug dealer on Asia, the drug trafficking is illegal. The drug dealer will be at the police department or the consumer ombudsman to complain, except if it's in Brazil, because we had this case in Brazil. The drug dealer and criminals complain the right to receive and keep the criminal result, and doing this at the public department, and seems that is considered okay. Brazil is amazing, but it's out of line, out of purpose. As we told, I talk with the structure with the offenders, including Brazil. No cooperation at all. Different sites, concurrent field of interest. If you hoax at the drug dealer, probably you suffer the consequence by the criminal organization, which is illegal. It is illegal. Now you commit the thievery. You stolen something like a clock, a watch, or a television, or a diamond, whatever, a stone. The thievery, or lift something, or steal data, or economic espionage is considered, all those behaviors are illegal in our areas. And we will consider macro. For instance, the east side of Greenwich, the west side of Greenwich, but still is wrong in our areas. It's here. The concurrent interests of two sides of the hemisphere will have the interest into the application of consequence against the thievery. Also the corruption. As police suggested 5 years ago to the International Criminal Court, the leadership in Interpol, and others, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the IBM, I think, the International Criminal Court, to consider apply the better guarantee. But you will for sure will have the consequence against the crime. In general, we will observe that those quoting universal crimes are and must be declared crimes in all areas. The only thing that will be different is the consequence applied. The kind of consequence, or how serious it will be this consequence. For instance, if you do the trafficking of drugs, some areas considering that you can do drugs, but the trafficking of drugs is always illegal. Some areas on Asia, you have the death penalty. On West, you have the prison as penalty. In this case, perhaps you must consider the prison. See, quite simple to get the idea. The notion on this part of the effort, that is the end, you must pay as a criminal system, and the payment as a compensation, it's not a punishment yet. This is the police for your punishment. The punishment is another phase. We observe that the paramilitary activity, considering the global arena, by concurrent interest of failure, tracked and traced from the local distortion already observed from Brazil and clustered on budget, helps us to understand that the transnational organized crime and the paramilitary in global scale as macro institutions like the United Nations, the World Health Organization, or even the NATO, the Security Forum, which has a criminal system inside Brazil, USA, will act by the localization at the international system in local areas. By the privileged access and the expertise they have misguided, and the illicit empowerment plus nepotism as a structural preparation to get the domain of those areas, they will act. But this action, as we could observe, is a criminal activity in all areas because organized crime is illegal in all areas. So you can have your decision if you will hit them from local until global, passing through the international, or from global until global, considering that you isolate the global arena and unfortunately hit the elements on it by crimes that must be declared in all areas and by circumstance as the local in the moment that committed the crime or had a declaration, or by the police as a better consequence or guarantee, you probably will apply something not so serious. And it doesn't mean that your responsiveness against the organized crime it's not serious. It's a humanity argument as police since deserve. See? Any question? Have a great week.